Good morning everyone. In this video I'm going to analyze the live price action for EU and DXY to see what opportunities may be available for us today. So as always, we're going to start off here on the daily chart. We have EU at the top and DXY on the bottom. So what's the daily chart showing us today? Well, if I read the wider price action quickly, what I will say is price was moving bearish. We took sell side liquidity below this low where this X is here. And then we had a bullish move creating a new bullish leg, right? Obviously over a couple of weeks. I see this as the market structure here where I've labeled the MS, right? Because this was the high that went and created that low, swept that sell side liquidity. So this short-term high was broken, right? And we've created a bullish leg. Now at this high, we rejected this resistance point here, right? This POY daily order block. Obviously took some buy side liquidity as well from previous highs, okay, and that gave us our bearish move. And into this week we had that very bearish opening down here, created that gap, okay. So we've rejected this area here, at least so far, as possible support, right? Sell side liquidity below these lows, little fair value gap, order block, and we had a couple bullish days now, right? Bullish yesterday close and bullish on Monday, ultimately filling the gap there. Okay, so that's what I see in terms of structure. So we're potentially bullish because of this short-term structure break here, creating this leg, right? We've pulled back, possibly now rejecting this low as a higher low. So then the target of buy-side liquidity, right, eventually to be this previous weekly high as a possible week high. So I see that potential to now have a more of a bullish move again. Okay, which so far this week we are showing, and so far today as well, you can see we're bullish. We've actually gone for our previous daily high for buy side liquidity already today, so we'll see what effect that has and look at the lower time frames. And then if I zoom out, there's also that potential to obviously go further down, right? Because on a weekly basis we are quite bearish still, and we do still have these POIs below. But that's where I'm conflicted a bit. Bullish leg, right? Pulled back, possible rejection of these lows, and then now we could potentially be bullish. So I see the daily as potentially showing bullish signs, and then we have the complete opposite here on DXY, of course, right? We broke below this internal short-term low here, right? When we made this low, we rejected that same order block POI here on the daily, had that bullish move back, took some buy side liquidity, right? Rejecting this order block ultimately, and now we might be bearish from there. Okay, so weekly area here rejected, short-term bullish move, took some buy side liquidity, real clear high test rejection close there, and now again this would ultimately be our sell side liquidity target of that previous weekly low to continue that new bearish leg into. So that's how I see the daily. So the possible daily outlook is bullish, right? So let's go down to the 4 hour. Let's see what that looks like. So here's what that 4 hour price action looks like. Of course we was bearish, lower lows, started making those higher highs, right? Clear switch in that structure, broke above this high, broke above this high, broke above this high. Now of course this is our bearish move. We've moved back to that more discounted area on the daily. You can see on the 4 hour there is an imbalance here. I'm not going to leave this marked in, but there is an imbalance here, right? That price has held and rejected, the candle body is rejected, and an order block behind that as well on the 4 hour. So validating that 4 hour with the fair value gap, and price has been bullish since. Now that could be a bullish pullback because obviously we have this new bearish leg here. Okay, so price has pulled back at the moment because it's semi-corrective here, right? High, low, high, into this 4 hour order block POI as well now. So we're looking to see what price does in this area. So that's where the conflict is for me so far with the daily. Daily looks potentially bullish, though we obviously have those draws on price below maybe, but with its market structure shifted to the bullish side. We've rejected these lows, but now we're into possible resistance POIs on the lower time frames on the 4 hour. So be interesting to see what price does with this zone here. Right, we've taken previous day buy side liquidity. We'll see if price eventually closes out rejecting that or not. So this is an interesting zone here, and I want to see what happens. You can see I've marked out the leg from that high to that low as well, right? So this is our dealing range from this high to this low. We're now in a premium premium resistance POI, okay, with this recent bearish price action, and we'll see if that holds. But again, it's kind of against that daily, so we may actually go higher and come for this buy side liquidity here. Let's move on. With all that in mind, let's go down to the hourly and see how that looks for us. Now the hourly in the 4 hour isn't much different, of course, so that's why I browse over the 4 hour. I mainly use the 1 hour during the day. Sometimes there's POIs and differences that you may not see on the hourly, just to get a clearer picture. But again, just to show the correlation between POIs and how they stack up on the time frames, if we go to the hourly now and just stay zoomed out, 1 hour order block where that 4 hour imbalance was as well, and order block. So you can see where price literally just spiked into that 1 hour order block here, rejected that. We've got a clear 1 hour leg, right? We've got the high here, which swept buy side liquidity, even mitigated this order block, and we had that bearish move, and we even had that very bearish open. So it still creates that leg. This is just a broker gap, I guess. So I just see this as a bearish leg. Now we are quite correctively, in my opinion, pulling back to this POI. So 4 hour and 1 hour order block POI here. Right, so to me this is very corrective, right? We're creating those higher lows, okay? Price may respect this area and come and liquidate, say, this kind of trend line price action here. We'll have some possible supports in the way, right? Order block imbalances. So price may have trouble or may find support in these areas, but at the moment it does look fairly corrective, like a trend line. Same here on DXY as well, that price could come for. Now, most recent price action, we actually have SMC divergence. That also goes with our possible bearish bias. This may keep moving, but I'm just going to draw it in now so it's very clear. We have our SMC divergence, right, from these 1 hour highs. We have this high to this lower high. Whereas as you can see now, with this order blocks being violated a bit, let me just remove that. You can see we have this low to this lower low. So DXY has now taken the sell side liquidity below these lows, broken that correlation, right? Whereas if we respect this order block here now on EU and we create a lower high, that breaking correlation points to a weaker EU. So buy side liquidity taken, where you can see with this red X line here above Asia and previous daily highs, into this 1 hour POI, which is also in a premium, and we have our SMC divergence and sell side liquidity possibly sponsoring a bullish move from DXY. So I hope that's making sense to you as to why I have that possible bearish outlook now. Even though, again, like I said, we're not exactly aligned with what the daily might do, we'll see. So that's how I'm reading this price action, and at least for London, obviously I'll be waiting for the structure to shift on the lower time frames. I'm favoriting going short, right? Price seeking out these imbalances here and sell side liquidity. So I think that's enough said. Let's go down to the M15. Let's see what that looks like for a possible trade this morning. Right, so here we are, M15. What would I want to see for a possible short trade? At the moment, I probably wouldn't want to go long despite this lower time frame momentum that we see here. For me, this should just be a grab on liquidity. There's too many factors against trading long at the moment, right? We're in a POI, we're in a premium on this 1 hour lower time frame and stuff. We've just taken buy side liquidity and sell side liquidity here. SMC divergence. Okay, so I wouldn't want to just set an order here just because there's an order block on the M15. What I would want to see now is price to close out, break below, say there's of course this short-term low here, or this low, so we'll see how it looks at the time if it does it. Okay, so I want to see momentum from taking the buy side liquidity, SMC divergence, 1 hour POI being rejected. I want to see a big momentum coming to the market, break those lows, leaving behind imbalance preferably, and then price to pull back to that order block, right? Like say this large 15-minute white candle here, to then go on and trade short into where we had those high time frame imbalances, order blocks, okay, back towards that discount, this sort of trend line price action going on here. So we could have that M15 order block above here, break of structure here, right? Could be seen as this low too. So whichever one at the time we'll see. I'm just going to put it at the extreme low of this leg here. Then we could have a pullback with possible corrective pullback, right, leaving some inducement just below our order block here with fair value gap, and then we can set our order at the order block, stop loss just above the high somewhat, right, to trade short towards the discount and towards those POIs I was talking about. So that's something that I would for sure be interested in. I need to see the momentum come into the market though and break below these. We have a lot of factors on our side, as I discussed, and all of these higher time frame factors here. Buy side liquidity from above Asia, right? Manipulate those highs, break down, and then pull back for that short. Okay, so this is something I'd definitely be interested in seeing. Now there's some red folder news later in the NY session, so we'll see what London gives us. Hopefully doesn't mess around too much waiting for that news. So I hope that was clear. Any questions, let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon.